Hi. My YouTube channel is called Nolimits. If you like fitness videos, you can click on the subscribe button. Pilates. We have all properly heard of it, lots of people attend classes regularly, it has a great reputation for improving the symptoms of back pain and other injuries, and it's often recommended by many other healthcare professionals and GPs, but it seems there is a variety of opinions of what Pilates actually is. The usual perception of Pilates is strengthen the core and a bit of stretching. Whilst the core muscles play an important role in Pilates as does mobility, as opposed to stretching, there is a little bit more to it than that. To understand what Pilates is, I'll give you a very brief history of it. Back in the 1880s, Joseph Pilates had a very sick childhood. Determined to overcome these issues, he mastered activities such as bodybuilding, gymnastics and diving along with martial arts. Whilst training the police force in self-defense, he was placed in prison for safety during the First World War. Whilst training inmates, he studied yoga and the movement of animals. This is where he created his corrective exercise system known as contrology. He believed poor health was down to modern life, bad posture and inefficient breathing. He taught this method to fellow inmates, and during 1918 flu pandemic, not one of the inmates who were taught this method of exercise became victim to the pandemic. There is a lot more to the history, but this should give you a small idea. In my opinion, in Pilates the exercises themselves are not the most important thing, and I believe they should vary, when possible, from person to person depending on the needs and requirements of the individual, as we are all going to have different needs and mechanical setups. This is why I believe Pilates is most effective in small groups, max of 8, any bigger and it can turn to a one-exercise-fits-all culture. It is the execution of each exercise, the techniques which are going to give the main benefit to all participants. This is where the Pilates principles come in. From my experience, exercises performed without the principles have little or no effect, whereas exercises performed with the principles are a lot more rewarding and beneficial. In my view, the principles are a real skill and do take a lot of practice to master, however when done correctly with the exercises is where I see the most benefit come from. In my opinion, it's better to do an exercise once correctly with all principles than it is to do 20 times without. Here is a list of principles, or I call them foundations, that I believe to be key. Most of these are originals ones. Alignment. Posture. Good posture is the state of muscle and skeletal balance which protects the structures of the body from injury. In short, if we aren't in good posture, we risk overworking some parts and underworking others. Breathing. Good diaphragmatic breathing promotes stability as it is a muscle of the inner abdominal unit. In my opinion, probably the hardest one to master. Connections. Having the ability to connect and recruit all muscles of the inner abdominal unit to provide stability from the inside. Precision. Getting the technique of each move correct to make each move effective and beneficial. Concentration and control. The ability to be able to fully concentrate on each move to ensure the correct foundations are being carried out and the exercise is being carried out effectively to benefit you. Integrated isolation. The ability to be able to isolate muscles but at the same time group them together with other muscles to make a chain, or a sling, of muscles. There are a few more you may have experienced in other classes or through other reading, but in my opinion these are the key ones to adhere to. Hopefully this should be enough to give an idea of Pilates is about. I don't want to make these articles too big as I want to keep them short and simple to help everyone's understanding. And in answer to the original question this article asked, what is Pilates? My answer would be, a corrective exercise program helping to develop strength from the inside. Pilates is a worldwide exercise phenomenon, but several facts about it are persistently misunderstood. Let's set the record straight. You will be surprised to find out what's true and false about Pilates. 1. It is a new form of exercise. False. Although Pilates has become popular all over the world in just the last several decades, it was created nearly 100 years ago by Joseph Hubertus Pilates, a German who moved to New York City where he and his partner Clara taught many of the most famous dance and theater performers. 2. Pilates was derived from yoga. False. Although Joseph Pilates studied yoga, he also studied boxing, gymnastics and many other forms of exercise. There is nothing in his writings or from those who were directly taught by him, suggesting that yoga was the major influence. Though they are complementary practices, Pilates and yoga differ greatly. 3. It is just for women. False. Pilates particularly appeals to women because it creates tremendous strength without a bulky appearance. However, it also appeals to men because no other exercise method surpasses Pilates for strengthening the core. 4. It is not suitable for older adults. False. Pilates not only benefits people of all ages, it is particularly beneficial for the older body because its fluid, controlled and precise movement does not harm joints. Furthermore, Joseph Pilates himself practiced it well into his 80s. 5. It is too easy. False. Pilates is an essential part of the conditioning program of many elite athletes. 6. It's too expensive. False. Pilates mat exercise does not require the additional costs of any equipment or a gym, and many free video lessons are available on the web. 7. Pilates is just a quick fix for flabby abs. False. Although Pilates does develop flat abs, it also strengthens the entire body as well as the mind. 8. It will give a person longer and leaner muscles. True. Pilates utilizes eccentric contraction more than any other exercise method. This particular way of building strength creates leaner muscle, less bulk and less risk of muscle injury. 9. It can make a person taller. True. Long and lean muscle tissue allows the skeletal structure to actually stand taller. This is why Pilates is known to dramatically improve posture. 10. Pilates will cure any back problem. False. Though Pilates is particularly effective for the relief of most back problems, and Pilates principles of core strength are used by physical therapists worldwide, it is not a substitute for medical attention. 11. It will help a person lose weight. True. Pilates, like any physical activity, burns calories. However, most experts agree that weight loss is ultimately the result of a combination of diet and exercise. 12. It improves athletic performance. True. Pilates is unsurpassed for increasing balance and coordination, which is why it is particularly helpful for those athletic activities that rely on core strength such as golf, horseback riding and tennis to name just a few. 13. Pilates is just like any other exercise but with different equipment. False. Pilates uniquely engages and integrates the body and the mind. It can be done with special equipment, or with no equipment at all. Now that you know what is and isn't Pilates, it's time to take the next step and try it. It will change your life.